So our next reader is William, who told me his last name earlier, and I have already forgot how to pronounce it.
Fietzer.
Fietzer, thank you so much. William is a former English instructor, academic librarian, and amateur golfer. He resides in South Minneapolis with his wife and their black Norwegian forest cat, Selene. He has written articles, reviews, and stories for the St. Paul Almanac, Examiner.com, The Daily Planet, and other publications about the diverse cultures and spiritual developments that make up our Twin Cities and national cultural scene. His two previous novels, Penal Fires and Metadata Murders, explore the shadowy intersection of American culture, crime, and technology. His latest, Mission Soul Recall, adds the paranormal and collective unconscious to the mix. Come on up, William.
Thank you. I feel like I'm in really good company, especially with the folks and all the supporters from South Minneapolis, where I'm from. I go to Chatterbox Pub, so it's. I was wondering why I didn't get a win, but that's all right.
You still have a chance.
Yeah. Okay. I got a chance. I'm going to be reading the first chapter from my latest novel. It's the first in the series called "Escape from the Immortals." And it's the first in the series. It's part of the visionary thrillers that I'm writing. I sort of graduated over. I'm also a member of Sisters in Crime, and I started out writing straight mystery thrillers, and now I've become. Then my second book is a techno thriller, and now this is a visionary thriller. And it needs a little bit of a setup. My main character is his name is Victor First. And he's a psychologist who's just returned from the Amazon after studying shamanic techniques, which he's going to use to help him with his psychotherapy treatments. And it enables him to explore the conscious mind of his patients. And he's back in Washington, D.C., and he receives a call from one of his mentors. He's not had very much success attracting any business. And his mentor says that they have two patients that they haven't been able to do anything with as far as a treatment. And he accepts the job and treats the first patient, who it turns out to be a purser on a Mexican sailing ship. And he's been found. He has. He's not able to speak, and that's why they've asked Victor to come in and see if they can reach them. So they are able to identify this gentleman. And then I'm going to read about what he's doing, what Victor does with the second patient.
Get a little closer to the microphone.
Okay.
I'll stop that line.
All right. It's all speculation at this point, Kincaid said. The Navy has something for its investigation, and we have a direction for diagnosis and treatment. He grinned and handed Victor another patient chart. Your next patient may not be as easy. Easy? Victor's hand still trembled. Gomez's anguish was profound. He grabbed the folder and focused upon the Jane Doe documentation in front of him. It showed conflicting symptoms. White woman, age 45 to 55 years old, height 5 feet 10 inches, weight 135 pounds, eyes blue, hair blonde. Attempts to learn her name and address draw repeated expressions of frustration about her memory. Repeats questions, appear to have problems understanding and expressing language. Exhibit signs of forgetfulness and hostility, along with mild coordination problems when using a pen or holding a notebook. Mental outlook characterized by depression and apathy, punctuated by bursts of singing and dancing in inappropriate situations. Her primary symptoms resemble the early stages of Alzheimer's disease, Victor said. Alzheimer's patients' progress seldom featured upside, so hope often was all the medical professionals could offer in the initial stage of diagnosis. He scanned the chart again for an encouraging sign. Her singing and dancing, though, suggests temporal lobe dementia, which responds better to treatment. That was my initial assessment. Now I'm not so sure, Kincaid said, and he peered at Victor over the tips of his joined palms. When the MP picked her up, she was dancing and singing gibberish at the top of her lungs. Gibberish, Victor asked? Nothing cogent at all? Well, she was saying Angra Maenu over and over. Ever hear the term before? Angra Maenu, Victor beetled his brows. A Middle Eastern god, I think. Deity references often identify the person's belief system, but this one's from one of the more obscure pagan religions. What about it? You're the shaman. I thought you knew all about obscure pagan religions. When Victor shook his head, Kincaid shrugged in exasperation. Too bad. She doesn't seem to be from that part of the world, poor thing. What's poor about her? Well, that's for you to determine. Victor uncrossed his legs and followed his chunky colleague into the commons area, a large square room that resembled the social area of a university dormitory. Sofas and tables were scattered in nooks around the low circular nurses' station in the center. From that vantage point, Fairchild occasionally peered over the Dutch doors of the 8 other rooms adjoining the commons area to ensure all our patients were safe and well. Over there, Fairchild pointed to 2 women seated on the divan facing a bank of windows that overlooked the parking lot. Facing her charged so that their knees touched, the female nurse clasped her patient's hand and crooned a melody Victor hadn't heard since childhood. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Daddy loves you and so do I. When the nurse completed the verse, the patient curled up, covered her face with her hair, and lashed out with her feet as though being attacked. Undaunted by her patient's kicks, the nurse started the lullaby again. The woman let go of her hair. After the 3rd verse, she sat up, dropped her hands into the nurse's outstretched palms, and swayed in time to the ditty's simple rhythm. Ever seen such passive aggression toward note music, Kincaid asked. She acts as though someone or something won't allow her to enjoy it, Victor replied. Perhaps it represents a repressed memory of some authority figure, or a demon. Is that what you learned from your studies in the Amazon, Kincaid sniffed? Demonic possession? Victor shrugged. The Bible says David used music to drive a demon out of King Saul. The corners of Kincaid's mouth twisted downward and Victor changed the subject. How cognitively impaired is she? That depends. If you mean alcohol or drug-induced impairment, the test that EMTs gave her on the way over showed no physical problems. If you mean brain injury or mental illness, she's behaved like this since she entered the clinic. The patient resumed kicking when the lullaby ended and ignored the nurse's request to stop. Kincaid rounded the sofa to help his assistant, and the terrified woman leaped to her feet. Angra Maenu, Magra Mianu! She danced out of the grasp of her pursuers and ran headlong into Victor at the opposite end of the sofa. He pulled her against his chest and grabbed her flailing arms. Kicking and screaming, she kneed him in the groin. Victor crumpled, but maintained his grip on her right arm. He gasped for air, struggled to stay conscious, and stood erect. It's okay. He grabbed her free arm and pulled her to him. You're safe. The woman ceased struggling, but her body vibrated like a strummed guitar string. She seemed more frightened than angry. Victor brushed away her obscuring strands of hair. Oh my God.